Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we're going to be making vegan Sunday roast. Who doesn't love a good Sunday roast? It's got everything you really want. It's got that fat, it's got that salt, it's got a crispiness. Basically the perfect kind of warming, hearty dish for me personally. And this is not going to disappoint. It's an excellent recipe that covers all the bases and has got all those good fan favourites, Yorkshire puddings, excellent gravy, and we've got an amazing roast cauliflower. Not much else to say here other than, yeah, let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to do is actually create our Yorkshire puddings. The reason I cook these first when I'm doing my Sunday roast is because Yorkshire puddings can be kept pretty well throughout when you're prepping everything else. So we're just going to make these first and keep them in a warm oven or just on the side and heat them up when we need them later. So I've got my Yorkshire, I've got my muffin trays here. I'm just going to add a roughly teaspoon of vegetable oil in each of these. So we're just going to swirl it around the outside so we just get all of the oil just around the muffin tin outside. We're going to put this in an oven at 220 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes until the oil is really, really hot and it's smoking. I can't stress enough that this oil needs to be really, really hot and smoking, so don't be tempted to peek it in there or take it out earlier. So let's put that in now. So whilst our muffin tray is heating up in the oven, we're going to create the Yorkshire pudding batter. We want to take a large mixing bowl and I'm going to place 90 ml of aquafaba into the mixing bowl. And aquafaba is just a fancy word for chickpea water. So it's the water that chickpeas are cooked in, and it's got a great tendency to be able to be whisked into almost like a foam like you would have with normal egg whites, and so that's why we're going to use it for this recipe. So to the aquafaba we're going to add 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, and then I'm just going to grab a whisk and we're just going to whisk this mixture until it becomes quite frothy and foamy. So there you go, it's got nicely frothy there. No need to whisk it anymore, you don't want to get it too frothy. That's perfect. So to that we're just going to add 350 ml of oat milk, almond milk, whatever milk you want. I like to use oat milk because it's got a little bit more fat in it. Just pour that in. Just give it a good whisk again. And then we're going to pour this out into a mixing jug. And then we're just going to use the mixing bowl again to combine our dry ingredients. So I've got 75 grams of just plain flour, 75 grams of chickpea flour or gram flour, half a teaspoon of mustard powder, and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Just going to give that a quick stir to combine. And then we're going to gently add in our wet liquid into this, a little bit at a time. And just keep adding in a little bit and whisking in until you've got a relatively thick batter. Okay, that's looking nice and good there. So it's relatively thin, but we've still got that foam from the aquafaba in the liquid, and that's very important to get those kind of nice and fluffy Yorkshire puddings. And so I'm just going to pour this mixture back into our jug so that we have an easy way to pour in the Yorkshire pudding mixture into our muffin tins later. So it's been 10 minutes since we put the muffin trays in the oven, so hopefully they're hot enough, and I'm going to take them out and pour the Yorkshire batter into the trays. And so you really want to work quite quickly here so the oil doesn't cool down. And we're just going to pour roughly about a third in each. Okay, perfect. And these are going to go back in the oven. And so we want to cook those in the oven for around 20 minutes or so at 220 degrees Celsius. Okay, whilst our Yorkshires are cooking in the oven, we're going to make our roast cabbage. And firstly, what we're going to do for the roast cabbage is make our marinade that's going to go around the outside of the cabbage and make it really, really tasty and delicious. For the marinade, we're going to need a small bowl, and you just want to place 2 teaspoons of rose harissa, a teaspoon of smoked paprika, a teaspoon of cumin, around 10 grams of thyme, roughly chopped and destemmed. And we've got half a lemon juiced. We're going to mash up 4 cloves of garlic. Just place that back into the bowl. 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Around a teaspoon of kosher salt. And just mix it up so it's nicely combined. We should get this really lovely looking deep red kind of marinade, which smells amazing and it's going to taste super awesome over this roast cabbage here. So to prep the cabbage, we want to take it and we're just going to slice off the bottom of the cabbage, removing any of the leaves. Now that cauliflower is nicely prepped, we're just going to spoon over this marinade over the top of it. And you just want to work it all the way around. Okay, that's nicely covered. So we're going to take a oven dish that you want to roast your cabbage in. And this oven dish needs to be deep enough to accommodate your cabbage and close the lid on it. So I'm just going to place a lid on this and then it's going to sit on the side until the oven is free from the Yorkshires, and then we're going to place it in the oven for 30 minutes or so. So after about 20 minutes or so, the Yorkshires are ready and they're looking delicious. I don't know if you can see that, but really nice and fluffy but crunchy. Absolutely love these. They are amazing. You might see here that there's a couple missing. I already had a couple on the way from the oven to filming with you guys, but yeah, they are delicious. So you're going to love these. They may not come out looking like traditional Yorkshire puddings with, the hole in. Sometimes it's all right. They taste absolutely amazing anyway. So don't be worried or annoyed if you haven't got that hole in. It's absolutely fine. Okay, I'm going to put these on the side, foiled. And then we'll move on to potatoes and stuff like that. And at the end, I'm just going to whack these back in the oven and warm them up to temperature. So now our Yorkshire puddings are out of the oven. I'm going to put the roast cauliflower into the oven at 200 degrees Celsius with the lid on for 30 minutes. So now we are going to prep the roast potatoes. The best bit of the Sunday roast, if you ask me. We're just going to peel and chop these potatoes into the size that we want. Now we've peeled and chopped the potatoes, I'm just going to put the lid on our pan of water with the potatoes and we're just going to bring it up to a boil. Potatoes are now up to a nice rolling boil, so I'm just going to turn this down and we're just going to boil these potatoes for around 2 minutes. Right, so the potatoes are now been boiling for about 2 minutes. I'm just going to drain these in the sink. Cool, so now we've drained these, we're just going to give them a nice shake in whatever colander you have. And the reason we want to do this is we want to start to rough up the potatoes a bit, and so they want to start getting fluffy around the outside. So you can start to see there that these are starting to get a little bit of fluffy edges from us just whacking against the edge of the colander. Once those are nicely fluffed up, we're going to grab 2 teaspoons of plain flour and just sprinkle this over the potatoes. And then again, we're just going to rough these up nicely. Okay, that's looking good. I'm just going to grab a tray here, and we just want to place the potatoes on the tray and cover with a good helping of vegetable oil. Arrange them evenly, and then I'm just going to douse them with a good amount of vegetable oil and a good helping of salt. And then these are going to go in the oven for 40 to 50 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius. Ideally, you want to turn them every 15 minutes or so to get an even crisp on the outside. However, that's not super necessary. You can just leave them in the oven and not worry about them. If you want the perfect roasties, check on them every 15 minutes, turn them around so they get these even crisp edges. Quickly clean up and then we will get on to the gravy. Okay, so now we're going to prep our gravy, the luscious, amazing gravy that's going to go over this Sunday roast. No Sunday roast would be complete. Oh, perfect timing. Okay, so that is the timer for 30 minutes for the roast cauliflower. We're now going to take it out of the oven, take off the lid and put it back into the oven for another 30 minutes to crisp up on the outside. So let's remove that now. Looking good, and back in it goes. Right, okay, where was I? We were making this lovely gravy, weren't we? So, first thing we're going to do is finely dice 1 large onion and 2 medium carrots. So after you've prepped your veggies, we're going to take a tablespoon of olive oil and heat it in our saucepan over a medium to high heat, and then just tip in our chopped onion and carrots. And we just want to cook these for around 2 to 3 minutes or so until the vegetables start to soften. So it's been about 3 minutes or so. Now vegetables have nicely cooked down. Carrots and onions are wonderfully soft. There's quite a lot of steam everywhere. Otherwise, we can turn this down now and we're going to add the rest of our ingredients in. So first off, we've got another 10 grams of thyme. I've used lemon thyme here, but normal thyme just works just as well. Then 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, a tablespoon of tomato puree, a teaspoon of sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of Marmite. This is going to give it a really lovely brothy taste. So don't worry if you don't like Marmite, you won't be able to taste it, it just imparts like a nice umami flavour. Then we've got 2 teaspoons of red wine vinegar, and 2 tablespoons of plain flour. And we're just going to stir that in and cook it off for another minute or so. So after about a minute, that's looking nicely cooked off. So we're going to add a litre of vegetable stock. Stir that in, and we're going to bring it to a simmer. Okay, this is nicely simmering away now, and we're going to cook this for around 10 to 15 minutes to reduce it down until it's a bit thicker and can coat the back of a spoon. Right, so it's been about 15 or so minutes, and this has reduced down by about half, and it's looking pretty good. And where you can check if your gravy is ready is just grab a spoon and just see if it coats the back of the spoon. And you can check by running your finger down the middle, and if it just stays in place, then that's a pretty good thickness, and that's basically what you want. You can reduce it further or less depending on the thickness of how you want your gravy. For me, reduce by half and you're pretty good. So, gravy done. Roast veg in the oven, Yorkshire's done. I've got some greens that I've steamed before. We're just about ready to plate up. So let's grab everything together. We've got everything here. We've got our roast potatoes, which are looking great, really nice and crisp on the outside and evenly golden brown. We've got our Yorkshire puddings, which is minus a few since I ate a couple while cooking, but again, amazing, delicious. And we've got our roast cauliflower, which is looking excellent. It's really, really nice and soft, but with this excellent kind of harissa outside. It's just delicious, believe me. And I've just gone ahead and steamed up some veg, I've done here some cauliflower nero and carrots. You can do whatever you want with this. I just like a bit of freshness with the fat. And then finally we've got our delicious gloopy gravy, which is so goddamn good. So what I like to do is get a big tray like this and place our Harissa cauliflower right in the center, because it's going to be this really wow factor of when you plate up for guests. And then we can just fill in everything else around the outside. So take some of the steamed veg, put it on the top, arrange some carrots, and then we'll grab we'll just grab all of these roast potatoes, just fill in the bottom. Oh man, this is going to be amazing. So good. And then finally take our Yorkshire puds and throw them on the side as well. Oh, this looks incredible, if I do say so myself. I'm very excited to eat this, guys. I don't know if you can tell. Very, very excited to eat this. All right. And there you go. Sunday roast with all the trimmings. Nothing left back. This is amazing. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate you sticking with me through the whole video. I know it was a bit of a long one, and it probably dragged out a little bit too longer than it needed to. I'm very hot. I don't know if you can tell. I got steamed in the whole of this kitchen. I'm very rose-cheeked at the moment, but I'm looking forward to eating this, to be honest. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please give it a like or a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe. We really appreciate it. If you have any questions, throw them in the comment section below and I'll be sure to get back to you. The full recipe for this is in the description, so click the link and you can have like a step-by-step on my website. But until next time, guys, I'll see you next week. Oh god damn, yeah.